Hello and welcome to your mat. Today's sequence is short and simple. We're going to look at extending the spine and getting a little bit of release in our shoulders. Sound good? Let's get to it. Come and sit in a position that's comfortable for you. So whether it's easy cross-legged or on your knees or in lotus or having your legs out in front of you, pick a position that you can sit in for a while. Take the buttock flesh back and allow the spine to ascend up and out of the pelvis. Take support underneath your buttocks if you need. Give yourself time to settle into this position and extend the spine up. Release the shoulders down away from the ears. Join your palms in front of your chest at the bottom of your sternum and allow the eyes to soften and close. I like to start my practices having a clear transition from where I've been to the practice itself. So sitting here, extending the spine up towards the head, releasing the shoulders away from the ears, closing down the eyes. Allow yourself to leave behind wherever you've been, wherever you've come from. And using the sensation and awareness of your breath, bring yourself into the present moment and into your body. So soft breath in through the nose, soft breath out through the nose. Just observing your breath, not necessarily changing it or breathing deeper. Just watching it flow in and out. And then take one more breath in, and as you exhale, release the hands to the legs and gently open your eyes. Come and stand in the middle of your mat. Have your feet in line with each other and facing straight forward. Often we stand with one leg turned out and we tend to lean into a hip. Have them both straight forward, ideally with the heels a little bit more out than you usually would, so that the outside edges of your feet are in line with the outside edge of your mat. Spread the sole of your foot into the ground so you can really sense the toes and the ball of the big toe mound and the little toe mound in the whole circumference of the back of your heel on the floor. Press into the ground and lift the kneecaps by lifting the front thighs up and bring the weight a little bit back so that it's on the front of the heel. Draw the shoulders away from the ears, soften the sides of the neck. Pressing firmly into the feet, allowing the legs to be strong and straight. Feel the spine grow up and out of the pelvis. Feel it grow from the lower back to the middle back to the upper back where it joins all the ribs. Broaden out across the front of the chest. Maybe take the hands back a little bit. Taking the shoulders away from the ears so you're not holding yourself rigid. You're firm but steady. See if you can feel the difference. Inhale, revolve the arms so that the palms face up. And as you inhale, spread the arms out to the side and all the way up towards the ceiling. Now, if you have tight shoulders or a shoulder issue, keep the hands either wider or bring them slightly forward. So you do a position that works for your body. Otherwise, if you're up here with the hands above the shoulders, take a breath in and out and turn them down. As you exhale, press as if there's resistance. Exhaling all the way down. One more time, revolve the arms, hands up and out. As you inhale, and turn the hands down, pressing down as you exhale. So this is Tadasana, mountain pose. Turning to the side, to your right, step your feet a little bit apart. Don't make the distance too big because you want to have a position so that the front of the pelvis is in line with the front of your mat. Have the front foot facing forward and the back foot just a little bit turned out. Take a look at your hips and turn them so that both of them are facing towards the front edge of your mat. Take your hands onto your hips, elbows pointing back, both legs are straight. Again, gently lift up the front of the pelvis, descend the back of the buttocks. Inhale, lift up and lengthen, keeping the legs straight. Exhale, come, if you can, come parallel to the floor. then do so. If your hamstrings are a little bit tight, maybe you're a little bit up here. So find yourself wherever works for you. Roll that right hip up and back and roll that left hip forward so that your sacrum is parallel to the floor. Gently broaden your belly towards the spine. Extend from your tailbone all the way through the spine, through the crown of your head, and allow your nose to point down towards your big toe. Pausing here for a moment, take the elbows up towards the ceiling. Take the shoulders away from the ears, and now interlace the hands and pull the arms slightly away from you and feel how much length and softness you can get from your neck. Inhale, press into the feet to come up. Release the arms and turn to the front. Let's do the other side. Turn towards your left. If the alignment of the feet makes you unstable, so the front heel is in line with the back heel, just take the feet a little bit wider. So with a wider base, you will have more stability. Again, find a distance so that you can have the front of the hips parallel to the front of the mat. Take the hands onto the hips, elbows back, lifting up the front of the pelvis, which gives you a nice, lovely stretch in the front of that thigh. Elbows back, back buttocks down. Lift and lengthen the spine. Inhale, press into the feet, straighten the knees, and as you exhale, hinging at the hips, which is here, bring your spine either parallel to the floor or as far down as you can go so that the spine remains straight. Keep pressing into the front foot and the back heel. Use your hands to encourage that left hip to roll up and back and the front hip to roll forward and down. Again, broaden the abdomen towards the spine and extend the whole of the spine out of the pelvis towards the crown of the head. Interlace the hands behind your back and pull the hands away from you so that you create some traction in the shoulders. So this is a soft action. Don't create too much tension, and feel that there's a bit of a traction as the shoulders move away from the ears and the neck has space to lengthen. Both knees are straight. Inhale, come all the way back up to standing, release the arms and turn back towards the long edge of your mat. Come and sit in Dandasana on your mat, which is the legs straight out in front of you. If you find it difficult to sit upright, if you have tight hamstrings and you find you falling backward, take a blanket underneath the buttocks or two so that you feel that it's easier to lift the spine up out of the pelvis. You may want to bend the knees a little bit, but if you can, keep them straight. If you're menstruating, you want to keep the feet hip distance apart to give space for your reproductive organs. Sitting in Dandasana, press the hands next to the hips into the floor and lift and elevate the spine. Now either have your fingertips onto the floor if you can't reach the floor, or if your arms are a little bit longer and you have them a little bit behind, to press into the hands. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Press into the back of the legs and ascend the spine out of the pelvis. Extend the back of the neck and look straight ahead of you. Keep pressing the thighs down, hook your thumbs and lift the arms above your head. So if you have sore shoulders or shoulder mobility issues, you spread your arms to the side or you take the hands slightly forward. Do the position that works best for your body. If you have your fingers hooked above your head, squeeze the arms towards each other, press into the thighs, and extend the spine up through the crown of the head. Feel the length on the sides of your body, the armpit, and now just soften the sides of your neck. Inhale with an exhalation, release the arms all the way down. Come and lie on your back. For bridge pose, Setubandha Sarvangasana. Just a note before we go up into bridge pose, when you lift the pelvis up, you want to make sure that you're using your glute muscles and your hamstrings so that when you come off the floor, you're not using the muscles of your back. So before you come up, you want to tilt the pelvis, the front of the pelvis towards you, which flattens the lower back onto the floor, and curl yourself up so the tailbone leads, which engages the glutes and the hamstrings to lift the pelvis up. Belly is soft, Throat and neck are soft. Okay, let's do it together. Hold onto the edges of your mat. Press the outer shoulders down. Feet are parallel again to each other. Make sure that the toes aren't sticking out. Knees in line with the hips. And when we come up, we want to keep the knees above the hips. Don't let them fall out to the side. Take a breath in and out here. Before you go up into the pose, sometimes it's nice to just take a moment to reset, to recalibrate. Exhale the breath completely now. Inhale gently, and then as you exhale, push into the feet, push into those outer shoulders, tilt the pelvis up towards your chest. Use your glutes and your hamstrings to lift the pelvis up into a bridge position. Pause here for a moment. Press the outer shoulders down, lift up a little bit more. And now option to either stay here, or if you can release the hands, interlace the hands under the buttocks, roll the outer shoulders down, and see if you can, keeping the knees in line with the hips, lift up the pelvis a little bit more. So your glutes and your hamstrings are working quite extensively to lift and hold the pelvis in this position. Abdomen is quiet. Throat soft. Press into those upper arms. Inhale with an exhalation, release the hands, keep the buttocks working, and roll down one vertebra at a time so that your tailbone or your buttocks come down last. And then completely let go. Let's go into a recline twist. Spread the arms in line with the shoulders. Bring the knees towards your chest. Now, if you're menstruating, take the knees above the hips, and when you go into the twist, you keep the knees further away from the chest, but make sure that you're curling the tailbone towards the legs so that that lower back isn't arched, it's rounded. If you're not menstruating, bring the knees close towards your chest. Inhale, and with an exhalation, keeping that left shoulder blade down, slowly, 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 bring the knees to the right. Maybe the right knee gets to the ground, maybe it doesn't, maybe the left knee does, maybe it doesn't. Give yourself time to let the body unfold. You can use your right hand on top of the left knee to give it a little bit of encouragement. Release the muscles around your neck and your shoulders. Curl your tailbone towards the knees and let the abdomen soften back towards the spine as it revolves from the right to the left. Pressing into that left shoulder blade. Nose points up towards the ceiling and bring your chin in slightly. Inhale, belly towards the spine to come up with an exhale. Pause here for a moment. Find your center. Inhale with an exhale over towards the left. Now remember, if you're menstruating, the knees aren't in your chest. Slowly, slowly down. Trying to get the knees to meet the elbow. And just notice if one side twisted more easily than the other. Press the right shoulder blade into the floor. You can take your left hand now to encourage that right knee. And roll the left shoulder away from that left hip. Exhale the abdomen towards the spine as you curl the tailbone towards your knees. So the upper body, the chest, the throat, it's all open and relaxed. Inhale back up towards the ceiling with an exhalation. Take the feet down, and now for Shavasana, take the buttock flesh a little bit away from your back. Slide the legs. Have them together initially and then release them completely. Let the little toe side of the foot be heavy. Spread the feet a little bit apart and spread the arms to the sides. Give yourself a few rounds of inhale and exhale, allowing the body to settle into this position. Make any shifts or adjustments that you need to be comfortable. And then make the decision not to do any more movements. So in Shavasana, corpse pose, we transition from the doing to the being. It may look like a simple, easy pose, you're just lying on the ground, but the art of completely releasing any physical activity in the body is actually quite an advanced thing to be able to do. So surrender to the ground, surrender to gravity. Let the eyes and your eye sockets gaze down towards your chest, towards your heart center. They start to flick around the eye sockets, watching the minds, watching the thoughts, and then they engage with the thoughts. So by drawing them down away from the mind towards the chest is a technique to help keep the mind quiet in your Shavasana. It also creates less tension in the eye sockets. Let your lower jaw be slightly apart from your upper jaw. And allow the tops of the shoulder to really roll down towards the floor. With each exhalation, can you release, release, release? Slowly allow your inhalation to become deeper and fuller. Bend your elbows, take your hands to your belly, your abdomen. Gently bend up your knees one by one. Stretch your right arm alongside your ear and then roll over to your right hand side and curl your knees into your chest. Let your head rest on your arm or your hand. And then use your left hand to push you up to come and sit. Find a position, a seated position where you're comfortable, and join again your palms in front of your chest. So ending off as we began, marking the transition from our practice now before we move on to the next activity. Just check in and sense the body and the mind after your practice without any judgment, just curious observation. And acknowledge that you've given yourself time out of your day for your practice. When you're ready, you can take your hands down and gently open your eyes. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me. See you next time.